Okay, we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? And welcome to yet another live stream. Tuesday, the 2nd of September is the date, and 7:40 p.m. is the time. As always, looking at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press today here in Spain. Also some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. Always some lively activity in the comment section, which is good to see. And we'll also take a look at some chat activity in the live stream chat in the second half of the broadcast this evening. We'll go into that live chat and say hello. So if you are watching live this evening, say good day in the chat section, please. Now, the month of September has got off to a big start for politics here in Spain. Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez has been out and about, and yesterday, as we can see here, he proposed a national climate pact amid rising disasters. A decade after proposing Spain's anti-terrorism pact, Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez has called for a new State Pact, this time on climate change. The move follows a devastating summer of wildfires that destroyed over 400,000 hectares and last year's catastrophic flooding in Valencia, which killed 228 people. Sánchez argues that Spain, one of Europe's most climate vulnerable nations, must adopt long-term strategies that transcend political cycles. He is seeking consensus with the opposition Partido Popular party, though the party has dismissed the initiative as a smokescreen to deflect from the government's handling of wildfire prevention. Sánchez stressed the urgency of uniting behind policies to tackle prolonged droughts, more violent sixth-generation fires, and increasingly destructive floods, warning that climate change is no longer a future challenge, but a present reality. So, Mr. Sánchez's first appearance in front of the cameras yesterday, proposing this national climate pact 10 years after the terrorism pact that apparently he also put forward and was accepted by the government at the time, Mr. Rajoy, or at least I think that's what that article alluded to there, or whether it was a PP initiative, I cannot remember. But Mr. Sánchez also wanting a pact that goes beyond the political cycles, as he calls them there. When governments change every 4 years, he wants solid, long-lasting policies that will deal with Spain's climate issues, which have been on display for all to see over the last couple of years. Well, basically 12 months. If we want to get exact with the time frame here. The floods in Valencia last year, and of course the fires which have devastated parts of the country. 400,000 hectares burnt as a result of those fires. So Mr. Sánchez wants to get onto the front foot, but the opposition party, led by the brilliant Mr. Feijóo, saying that it's a smokescreen, nothing to see here. The government trying to hide its ineptness when it comes to dealing with these tragedies. So it looks as though this one won't get over the line, but good luck, Mr. Sánchez, for trying. Second piece of news, and also related to the Spanish Prime Minister, because he gave his first sit-down interview for 14 months, apparently this morning, and he accused judges in Spain of politicization over cases involving his family. In his first interview in 14 months, Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez told RTVE, the state broadcaster's Pepe Bueno, that the judicial investigations into his wife, Begoña Gómez, and his brother show there are judges doing politics and politicians trying to act as judges. He urged the General Counsel of the Judiciary to determine whether these cases respect judicial independence and the presumption of innocence. Sánchez said most judges act properly, but not all, calling the proceedings against his relatives clear cases of unfair treatment. He argued they were suffering media harassment simply for being related to him. The Prime Minister also defended Attorney General Álvaro García Ortiz under investigation, insisting he is innocent and that no trial should proceed without evidence. On the Coldo case involving alleged corruption linked to party figures, Sánchez denied party financing irregularities and stressed his presidency rests on government actions, not ongoing legal proceedings. So again, Sánchez on the front foot, accusing judges here in Spain, the ones that have been processing his family because of these alleged corruption cases. Again, alleged corruption cases because nothing has been proven in the court of law yet, but Sánchez's wife and brother involved in these cases. And according to Sánchez the judicial system is going after him, and also the media going after those family members simply because they are related to Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez, who, let's be honest, has his haters. So we'll see how this one ends up, but the judges apparently not happy that Sánchez is questioning or the judiciary, is not happy that Sánchez is questioning some of its members there and accusing them of playing politics and politicians acting like judges, as we saw. So welcome to the world of politics here in Spain, and also the judicial proceedings here in Spain, because when politicians get in the spotlight and in hot water because of these things, they go on the attack, and nobody is safe, not even the judges in the country. So we'll see, as I said, how this one ends up. Bad news for Mr. Sánchez, because Spain has suffered its worst August job losses since 2019 as unemployment rises. Spain's labour market took a sharp hit in August, losing nearly 200,000 jobs, the steepest decline for the month since 2019. According to data from the Ministry of Social Security, membership fell by 199,300 compared with July, reflecting the strong seasonality of Spain's employment market. At the same time, unemployment rose by 21,905, bringing the total number of registered job seekers close to last year's figures, though below those of 2023 and 2022. The government, however, points to seasonally adjusted figures which paint a less bleak picture. Job affiliation actually grew by 29,836, while unemployment fell by 6,075. Still, the headline figures underscore the recurring summer pattern of job destruction, particularly after the end of the tourist season. Compared with recent years, only 2020, when the economy rebounded after the pandemic shock, avoided a late summer jobs slump. So the worst job losses since 2019, according to El Mundo here. The government sees a different story, of course, but it again highlights, as the text points out, the precariousness of jobs here in Spain, especially ones that are related to the summer tourist season. Plenty of people employed in the months of July and August, but as soon as the 1st of September comes around, hasta luego, adios, goodbye, we don't need you anymore, see you next year if you are interested. And that, of course, wreaks havoc on the unemployment figures every year. And not only is it the tourist industry that creates this type of employment, but also education as well. Lots of teachers are put off for the summer, so a struggle for many people to find decent employment opportunities in this country, given the labour market and the way it works. Not easy. And the final piece of news we can see here, Spain approves an 83 billion regional debt relief plan. The Spanish Council of Ministers has approved the draft bill allowing the cancellation of part of the debt held by the regional governments that request it. The measure, announced by the government spokesperson Pilar Alegría, will ease financial pressure on Spain's autonomous communities, enabling them to redirect savings towards improving healthcare, education, and other essential services. Under the plan, the state will absorb 83.25 billion euros, around a quarter of the debt of regions under the common financing system. According to the first Vice President and Finance Minister, Maria Jesus Montero, this will free up between 6.6 and 6.7 billion euros in interest payments, which regions can now reallocate to key public spending areas. The government insists the initiative will not create territorial inequalities, framing it as a national strategy to strengthen public services while reducing financial burdens on the regions. So the Spanish government, they're trying to convince citizens here that they're doing a good thing by relieving the debt of the autonomous communities that request the debt relief. But of course, this all comes down to the workings of Spain's number one fugitive, Carles Puigdemont, who specifically stated that this has to be one of the things put on the table and approved by the government if he is to give its support to get their policies passed in the parliament. So the magician Puigdemont working behind the scenes there and creating what the government calls equality, but some people see this as a way to satisfy the Catalans, who were the people that most spent money when they shouldn't have, and Carles Puigdemont getting that debt almost written off there. So an interesting play, but again, we'll see how the opposition reacts to this one. Now let's take a look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. One here from Marco. The number of days per year with temperatures over 40 degrees Celsius in Seville. 2025, 30 days, highest ever. 2020, 14 days. So thanks, Marco, for the comment, putting into perspective the heat wave that some parts of the country have suffered this summer. Seville, the city of Seville, down there in Andalusia, 30 days in 2025. Temperatures over 40 degrees Celsius, and 2020, 14 days. So listening to the experts, or listening to what the experts are saying there, and Marco agreeing with that. Another comment here from media. Here in El Bierzo, the heat wave and the fires were quite a literal vision of hell, with 40 degrees of heat, a smoke-filled sky that made the sun pale and blood red, and ashes covering all my patio furniture every day. Maybe it's only me, but I couldn't have cared less for more gossip about politicians and their antics while that very real disaster was going on. Thanks for the comment, media. Also living in one of those areas in Spain that were affected by the wildfires, El Bierzo in the province of León, Ponferrada, the main city there. If you are familiar with that part of the country, and almost on the front line, I would say, given the conditions that media shows us here. Smoke-filled sky, pale sun, blood red, ashes covering the patio furniture. So, worrying times, and more pressing priorities for media than what's going on with the politicians and their toing and froing their blame game when it comes to these fires, because the reality is what we saw there. So I imagine that media would be in agreement with the Climate Pact. I don't know, but I imagine that could be the case that Sánchez has put forward. However, some people aren't. Of course, some people don't think that Spain is in the middle of a climate crisis. We'll see some comments now from some of those people. For example, Elisa, 2,170 heat-related deaths, ? What a nonsense is that? Those statistics are false, capital letters. Not thousands of people have died in Spain because of heat, not even hundreds. It's summer, and summer in most of Spain regions is hot. But since the comment went on and on and on and on, but I'll wrap it up for you guys here if I can. How can you spread such a blatant lie? Shame on you. By the way, I live in Spain, so I know what I'm talking about. Thanks, Elisa, for giving us your opinions on the climate crisis here in Spain. Absolute rubbish, and I'm spreading blatant lies. Thank you very much for that. All I do is read what the Spanish press puts out, but according to some, I'm spreading blatant lies because there's nothing going on in Spain, nothing to see here. Summer is normal. Move on. No heat-related deaths. 2,000 heat-related deaths. Where did you get those figures from? Absolute rubbish. The comment also mentioned there that people in Spain know how to deal with the heat. because they've been dealing with it all of their lives. So they're not going to die because of heat-related deaths. It's all made up by the medical fraternity and also politicians who, according to Elisa, have an agenda. Similar comment here from Michael. Absolute BS. My sister-in-law lives there. So Michael, speaking through his sister-in-law, also saying that it's absolute BS, all of these deaths that have been attributed to the heat this year in Spain, over 2,000, close to 2,200, according to the experts that put these statistics together. But again, people like this prefer to listen to their sister-in-law and come up with their own conclusions as to what's happening in Spain regarding the climate. So thanks for that, and maybe we should all listen to our sisters and brothers-in-law when it comes to this type of thing, because I'm sure we're going to get the answers there. Thanks, Michael, for the comment. Another one here from Jill. I wonder if the foreign students are fluent Spanish speakers. Thanks, Jill, for the comment regarding the students that are coming into Spain. I think we saw 1 in 4 students in some parts of the country are now from a foreign background. What the background is wasn't mentioned, I don't think, in the text, but Jill asking the question, do they speak Spanish fluently? ¿Hablan español con fluidez estos niños que están entrando en los colegios españoles? Good question, Jill. To be honest, I imagine that some of them would, because they come from South American countries, so no tendrán problemas para hablar español. And others would come from countries where Spanish is not their language of birth. For example, maybe Morocco or some African countries as well. So those children would have to learn the language if they want to succeed in the Spanish school system. And no doubt they will. They might have some troubles in the first few years picking it up, especially if they've only just arrived in Spain. I imagine it can't be easy being thrown into the Spanish school system with no knowledge of the Spanish language. But yeah, it is a complex situation for these kids that come. Lots of countries have the same issue with people that come in from non-English speaking backgrounds in the UK or the States, Australia, Canada, wherever, non-Spanish speaking backgrounds here. But yeah, they'll hopefully get the support they need. I say hopefully because it's not guaranteed, I don't think, and they'll be able to pick up the language and succeed in the school system and become good citizens. I think that's the objective, but time will tell, as I always say. And another one here from SB, Canadian here. I like the format of your news, especially your comments to response to others' comments. Gracias. Thanks, SB. Thanks for watching the channel, and glad that you like the videos and some of the responses that I give to the comments on this channel. I don't necessarily agree with every comment that I read. I like to highlight some comments. We see the extent of some people's thoughts and thought processes here on the channel. Always interesting to see. I don't expect everybody to agree with me either. But what I'm not going to be doing is asking my brother-in-law his opinion on the weather in a country where apparently he resides. But some people are quite free to do that. On the blower the next time to my brother-in-law, I'll ask him how things are going. I'll see what he says. And I'll come back with the news for you guys. But it is what it is. But thanks for enjoying the videos. Now into the live chat. I'm going to go see what's bubbling away there in the live chat. Before I get there, I need to change the backdrop picture. This photo was sent in by Stephen. He and his wife Anne were in Santander City recently. Took this photo of the children. I think the statue of children here swimming in the Rio or whatever it is there in Santander. You can see in the background there the famous Botín Center. and other things here on the promenade here, or the walkway, whatever you want to call it, and the statue there quite prominent. So thanks, guys, for sending this one in. And if anybody has a photo they would like to see on the backdrop, the email address is spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free to send your information through to that address, spainspeaks@gmail.com, or any other stuff that you would like to send my way. Photos, articles, whatever. Send them to that email address, please. The like icon is on the screen also. If you haven't hit the like icon yet, please do so. Just below the video, you will find it if you're watching on a computer, or if you're watching on a television, you might have to go into the settings and find the like icon, but do us a favor and hit it, please. We're currently at 49 likes, so we'll see if we can get up to a decent tally today as far as those likes are concerned. Now, I'm just going to de-blur the background as well so we can see part of the picture. And yeah, so hit that like icon, please. Also, people that have supported the channel in recent times, I always like to give a shout out. Super thanks users, super chat and the live streams, people that have bought me a coffee. Harry from Edinburgh bought me a coffee earlier this afternoon, which I'll have tomorrow. Thanks, Harry, for that. Patreon supporters, thank you very much. We've had a couple of people jump on the Patreon in recent times. Thank you very much for that support. And also the channel members here on YouTube, again, thank you very much for that support, because the support helps keep the channel growing, of course. Now, into the chat section I need to go. Let's see what's happening there. Let me scroll up to the top. There we go. Andrew is in the chat first. Cab off the rank, as they say here. Muy buenas, Stuart, and all. Espero que estéis todos bien. Sun and showers here in London South East. Thanks, Andrew, for that. Good to see you. Valued member, of course, is Andrew, as is Barbara from the Playa Flamenca region in Spain. Been another lovely day. Temperatures of 29 this afternoon. Sounds good, Barbara? 29. I would take that any day of the week. YouTubers coming in from southern Spain. 30 degrees there. Still too hot to go out much during the day. Yes, that's the issue, isn't it? Those hot afternoon temperatures, still not quite comfortable enough, right? So wait till it cools down a little bit. And I don't think we need to worry. Autumn just around the corner, of course, the autumn weather, and things should start to cool down. Although I did read that there is some more hot weather forecast in coming days. Alma's in the chat, coming in from Benihofar, checking in from there. Buenas, Stuart, and everyone. James and Kathy in the chat too, regular viewers. Good evening from an overcast Worcester. Unfortunately, we have had to cancel our trip to Spain in September due to Kathy's health issues. So hopefully make it in December to Spain. Thanks, guys, for that. Sorry to hear about Kathy's health issues there and cancelling the trip. Let's hope she gets better soon and the trip in December is back on. Let's hope that is the case. Get well, Kathy. James also saying that they love the tinned seafood video. Didn't know there were so many delicious options. Giving us ideas for the future. Thanks, guys. Yeah, that was last week, I think. I published a video on some of the tinned seafood options. Plenty of variety when it comes to tinned seafood. Lots of goodies in cans. Some people complaining that it's a little bit expensive, but it is seafood, of course, and you pay a premium price, whether it's fresh or canned or frozen, for the produce out of the sea. And it is the case, but most important thing is that you enjoy what you eat, and of course you don't think about the price, right? Harry, just mentioned Harry, valued member, just bought me a coffee, coming in from Edinburgh this evening. Good to see you, Harry, in the chat. John is also here. High Flyer 1965, back in rainy UK now. Got some catching up to do, but we'll at least make the live tonight. Thanks, John, for that. Back in rainy UK after some sunny time in Greece. I think John has been recently in that country, Greece, with the family. Renan coming in from Los Angeles, saying hello to everybody who is watching now. Good to see you, Renan, regular viewer, of course. As is Amanda coming in from a chilly Shropshire, there in the United Kingdom. Tio Al, Uncle Al in the chat, 26 in San Diego with sunny conditions. Hopefully things will get cooler. Thanks for that, Al. Janet, value member also coming in from a dreary Oxford, off to Cornwall on Saturday, so hope the weather improves somewhat. Yes, get some good weather down there on the English Riviera, is it? Is that the Cornwall area? The English Riviera? YouTube would like some of the cooler weather, or YouTubers would like some of that cooler English weather or British weather. Not me. Gold Geologist coming in from San Antonio, Texas, a regular viewer of the channel also. Janet asking the question, what are sixth generation fires? Well, that's what these fires that we've had in Spain over the last few years, Janet, have been called. Apparently they're very, very difficult to put out, burn with a greater intensity, and create a lot of destruction. And I think the key is the difficulty getting them under control. And that's what we have seen in recent times over the last even 10 years with a lot of these fires. Very, very difficult to put out, and the destruction that they cause. So I think that's where the name comes from, Janet. Shangen coming in from Shanghai. Good to see Shangen in the chat, valued member as well. Larry's also coming in from La Palma, down there in the Canary Islands. Good to see Larry. Hike Ranger, valued member, coming in from Scottsdale, Arizona. We'll soon be back in school, I think, Hike Ranger. Johnny's a valued member too, coming in from Lisbon, travelling around Spain and Portugal currently, is Johnny, I believe. I think I got an email from Johnny last week. I think it was Johnny. Thanks, Johnny, for that. If it was you, I'm fairly sure that it was. Bronny also in the chat, coming in from South Wales, 18 degrees there. Heavy rain forecast for tomorrow. Thanks again for the live stream. Best wishes, Bronny. I think rain is also forecast for Spain over the next couple of days, but more warm weather just around the corner, apparently. YouTubers saying that many in Valencia still haven't received compensation more than a year after the Dana ruined their homes. Municipality passing the buck while the government paid all the compensation money to some Dana oligarch. I saw today that Mr. Mazón, who is still the leader of the Valencian government, believe it or not, said that he's going to give another, I think it was 300 million, I think was the number that Mr. Mazón announced to the victims of the Dana that YouTubers is pointing out here. And I saw a documentary or a television program last week that said that a lot of people still there, a lot of people there are still waiting for their any type of compensation a year after the event almost. So an absolute disgrace. An absolute disgrace. The bureaucratic processes that are in place that stop people getting the help that they need to rebuild their lives, to get them back on track. Well, we've got these fat cat politicians with their after lunch drinks and smoking the old cigars and sitting back with all of the paperwork, finishing a lot of these civil servants at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Nothing to see after that time. And the politicians, of course, leaving a lot to be desired. Unfortunately. Rico coming in from Seattle, Washington. Good to see you, Rico. A blast from the past. Ross, haven't been live for a while. ¿Qué tal? Says Ross. Living in Spain, I think, is Ross. Formerly of New York, I believe. Now living in Spain. Good to see you, Ross. Good to see you back watching. Marianne, regular viewer, coming in from San Diego. This will pass soon, the hot weather there. Señor Nutritivo, Sánchez is using climate change as an excuse. Some people would definitely agree with you there, Senor Nutritivo, I think that is. Some people would not. But again, that's the PP's argument, the opposition party's argument, as you would expect. An excuse. Dusty saying you need better news sources. Too much fake news here. Well, go jump, Dusty. Go and find your news somewhere else. There's plenty of people spouting news on the internet nowadays. There's hundreds of YouTubers that will satisfy your news requirements. So buzz off. Go and find them and stop wasting my time with comments in the chat section. Hasta luego, Dusty. There we go. Now, what else we got here? 27 from Neymar in the General Valley, I think that is. The General Valley, Malaga, Córdoba. Thanks for that. Malaga, Cádiz, I should say. Again, Mr. Nutritivo, news outlets in Spain get millions from the government, so yes, they spread BS. Thanks for that. Again, get your news from somewhere else. Go read the news that you want to read. There's plenty of people that are putting out their own news nowadays, their own versions of events. Go read them. Go watch them. Plenty of them, my man. Plenty of them. Marcus is in the chat here, putting out the 14 months of membership. Wow. No climate change according to trolls. No, according to some people, Marcus, there's nothing going on, nothing to see here. This is completely normal. What politicians tell us is absolute rubbish. We shouldn't believe anything at all. We should believe the people that know the truth on these things, not the experts, the people that know the truth. And plenty of people believe that. What else? Neymar saying here, the fires are awful, but they don't happen spontaneously. They start through accident, negligence, or arson. Yes, we know, but the issue here is the intensity of the fires, Neymar, and the conditions in which they are burning. Jerry also saying this is what happens when you rewild. Cleaning bush was common and now it isn't. It is used by the climate zealots to tax you more. Thanks, Jerry, for your input on the topic. I can't say that that is the case. I can't say that it isn't. So I'm not going to say anything. Yes, we've seen how many people have been arrested for arson, 40 or so. That is true. They should go to jail for a long time. Well, it depends on the courts, right? And what the judge's decision is. Andrew's saying that lots of visitors in Amariña, but staying in their Airbnbs and not spending money in restaurants and bars. An issue for the local economy then, Andrew. That is true. What else we got going on here? Harry saying, hey, I have 3 Spanish sisters-in-laws and 2 Spanish brothers-in-law. Can't get them to agree who's talking first. Wouldn't be hanging on their opinions. Ha ha ha. Good one, Stuart. Yeah, I also wouldn't be hanging on other people's opinions, Harry. Especially brothers-in-laws and sisters-in-laws and all of these people. My brother-in-law is an interesting character, I will say. I'm not going to say which one because I've got 3, but one of them is. In fact, you could say that they're all interesting characters. I'll put that out there. They're all interesting characters. The families-in-law. Antonio, hello Stuart. Always great lives. Thanks a lot. Foreign kids don't have any kind of trouble learning Spanish. It's not easy for older people, not for kids. That is true, Antonio. I imagine there's a couple of years where they have trouble in the system because the Spanish education system is quite demanding. And I imagine that there are kids that if they don't get after-school support from parents that might not speak the language, they could have trouble in the system. Because from what I've seen, Antonio, personal experience is that there's a lot of homework given and a lot of kids rely on help when it comes to their after-school study period. And if your mother or father is not fluent in the English language, for example, or the Spanish language, for example, or doesn't know a lot about mathematics. It's tough. Hike Ranger asking the question, what's the celebration plans when you hit 100,000, maybe a few months away? No plans to go away, Hike. I'll probably just have a quiet celebration, wait for my little plaque thing to arrive, stick it on the wall behind me. What else? Mr. Nutritivo is a Spanish, suffering politicians' lies for 46 years. Yep, I can hear that. Suffering the lies for 46 years. What else? What else we got going on here? Let me scratch my nose. Pedro coming in from Aveiro in Portugal. Aveiro is what they call the Venice of Portugal. There's some gondola activity going on there. Good to see you, Pedro, and boa tarde to you as well. Billy, thanks. You're doing a great job. Thanks, Billy, for the support. The riders in the Vuelta de España, the Spanish road cycling race, were riding in pouring rain today. Well, that's why I said there is some rain forecast, Ross. Don't know where they're riding at the moment. Maybe you can fill us in, but I know rain is forecast, and then the good weather coming back again. Enrico is flying to Malaga on Friday. Looking forward to the weather change in Andalusia for a few weeks. Good luck with that trip, Enrico. That's the last comment. I'm going to wrap it up. It's been a pleasure as always. I'll be back again on Thursday with another one. Hope to see you guys then. We'll see what news breaks in the mainstream media over the next couple of days. But again, if you want alternative news sources, the internet is abundant. Go for your life. Until then, hasta luego. Hasta entonces. Adios. Bye-bye.